Far beyond the planets we know, past the heliosphere and into the silent void of interstellar space, Voyager 2 drifts alone, carrying the legacy of humanity on a golden disk. But what it just sent back isn't another routine measurement or distant echo of our sun. It's something entirely unexpected. A final image, precise, geometric, and impossibly deliberate, appearing in the vast randomness of the cosmos, has sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Was this just a cosmic coincidence, a trick of failing instruments, or has Voyager 2 captured something alive, something intelligent, something that might be responding to us? The universe, it seems, is not as empty as we once believed, and this dying machine may have just whispered the first sign that we are no longer alone. When Voyager 2 launched in 1977, it carried with it humanity's most optimistic gesture, a golden disk filled with greetings, music, and sounds of Earth, intended as a cosmic introduction to whoever or whatever might find it. The mission was simple on paper: explore the outer planets using gravity assists, relay unprecedented images and data back to Earth, and then continue into the unknown. For decades, it faithfully performed its duties, sending back measurements of plasma, magnetic fields, and cosmic rays. But now, nearly 50 years later, the spacecraft has returned something far more perplexing than planetary data. In its final transmission, Voyager 2 captured an image that defies every expectation. Unlike stars, planets, or ordinary cosmic dust, this anomaly appears geometric, structured, and deliberately formed, a pattern so precise that it stands out in the chaotic expanse of interstellar space. It remained fixed relative to the spacecraft, as if aware of being observed, and persisted across multiple frames, raising questions that challenge everything scientists thought they knew about deep space. Scientists quickly confirmed that the anomaly wasn't a camera malfunction or a glitch in Voyager 2's failing instruments. Multiple sensors across different wavelengths detected the same structure, ruling out hardware errors. What emerged was a lattice-like formation, symmetrical, repeating, and mathematically precise, with patterns reflecting Fibonacci ratios and prime number spacings. The structure even seemed to react subtly when scanned, as if it were aware of the probe's observation, challenging the very limits of known physics. Researchers realized this wasn't just a random arrangement of cosmic matter. It hinted at intentionality, intelligence, or at the very least, a phenomenon entirely outside conventional astrophysical models. The deeper scientists analyzed it, the more the image suggested a response, a silent message encoded in the geometry of the cosmos itself. The more researchers examined the data, the stranger it became. Voyager 2's magnetometers, despite decades of degradation, began detecting rhythmic pulses in the local magnetic field near the anomaly. These pulses were not random. They followed predictable intervals, forming sequences that mirrored the Fibonacci patterns visible in the structure itself. It was as if the very environment around the probe had been manipulated, leaving behind a signal only intelligible to those capable of recognizing complex mathematical patterns. The implications were staggering. This wasn't just a passive object floating in space. It was a system that interacted with its surroundings, responding to observation and seemingly aware of the probe's presence. Scientists began to entertain an unsettling possibility. Whatever Voyager 2 had encountered might be far more advanced than any conventional life form, capable of shaping not only its own structure, but the fabric of space around it. As analysis deepened, the unsettling possibility grew clearer. Voyager 2 might not have captured a physical object at all. Some theorists suggested the anomaly was a reflection, a dynamic distortion in space itself, turning toward the probe the moment it observed too closely. Rather than a star, planet, or conventional matter, this could be a form of sentient surveillance embedded in the cosmos, invisible until a sufficiently advanced machine triggered its awareness. The patterns, the pulses, and the deliberate geometry all pointed to something that wasn't simply there, but something that responded, adapted, and mirrored Voyager's actions. In essence, the observers had become the observed, and humanity's long-distance experiment in sending a message into the void may have just awakened a presence that had been lying in wait for eons. For nearly 50 years, Voyager 2 had drifted through the interstellar void, carrying humanity's message in the form of the Golden Record, a time capsule of music, greetings, and mathematical knowledge meant to reach whoever or whatever might find it. Yet the final image it transmitted back was far more than a simple snapshot of empty space. It was a response. The geometric lattice, precise ratios, and Fibonacci patterns mirrored the very mathematical language encoded on the record, suggesting not just reception but comprehension. The structure even appeared to adapt subtly to Voyager's scanning, as if aware of being observed, hinting at an intelligence capable of interpreting our signals and responding in kind. Behind the scenes, NASA quietly rerouted the data streams to secure quantum computing labs, encrypting them heavily and restricting public discussion, signaling the profound implications. This was no ordinary anomaly, and the cosmos had just replied. As scientists dug deeper into the data, Voyager 2's magnetometers, astonishingly still operational, began to reveal a pattern in the local magnetic field near the anomaly. The pulses were not random. They followed precise, predictable intervals, forming Fibonacci sequences that echoed the visual patterns captured in the final image. For decades, humanity had sought signs of extraterrestrial life through radio signals or planetary atmospheres, but this was something different. A civilization or force manipulating the very fabric of its surroundings, leaving behind structured, intelligible patterns meant to be observed only by those capable of recognizing them. The implication was chilling. This was not debris, not a natural phenomenon, but an intentional, responsive presence, aware of Voyager and perhaps by extension aware of us. As researchers continued analyzing Voyager 2's data, a more unsettling possibility began to emerge. What if the image wasn't of a physical object at all, but a reflection, a dynamic, responsive distortion in space itself, like a mirror turning toward us the moment we observed it? Some theorists proposed that Voyager hadn't merely captured something new, it had triggered a dormant mechanism, a sentient field lying in wait, invisible until one of our machines crossed the precise boundary. This wasn't a signal to be intercepted or a structure to be studied. It was something that simply existed to observe, and now, through Voyager, it had acknowledged our presence. The very act of looking may have altered reality, making the observers, the humans and their probe, the observed, and leaving scientists grappling with a question no one was prepared to answer. What if we were never alone, and the universe had been watching all along? For nearly half a century, Voyager 2 drifted silently through the void, carrying the hopes and messages of a species too young to comprehend the consequences of reaching out. Its golden disk, filled with music, mathematics, and the essence of Earth, was intended as a greeting to the unknown, a gesture of curiosity and optimism. But the final image Voyager captured was far more than a picture. It was a rupture in our understanding, a geometric echo of intelligence reflected back at us in forms too precise, too deliberate to be random. It wasn't a star, a planet, or cosmic debris. It was something else entirely, something that seemed aware, something that mirrored our logic, perhaps even our intentions. For the first time, humanity faced the unnerving realization that its message had not only been sent but possibly understood, and that the universe was no longer a silent void, but a presence that had responded, observed and waited. The implications of Voyager 2's discovery ripple far beyond science, touching philosophy, security, and the very way we understand our place in the cosmos. If what the probe captured is indeed a reflection of intelligence or a responsive phenomenon, it challenges everything we assumed about solitude in the universe. Experts privately debate the possibilities. Could this be a form of sentient observation, a structure or field designed to detect and mirror any advanced attempt at communication? Some speculate it may even be a warning, a mechanism that activates only when a civilization reaches a certain technological threshold. The golden record, once a symbol of hope, may have triggered a response that humanity was never prepared to receive. And as Voyager 2 continues its silent journey, the patterns, pulses, and geometric echoes it captured remain a haunting reminder. We are no longer merely observers of the cosmos. Somewhere out there, the universe may be watching back, aware, deliberate, and waiting for the next move. The question that lingers now is not if we are alone, but whether our messages have already been heard, and what the consequences might be when the observers are more patient, more calculating, and more powerful than we could ever imagine. Voyager 2's final image and the data it transmitted force us to confront a reality far stranger and more complex than anyone anticipated. What began as a mission to explore the outer planets has evolved into a profound encounter with the unknown, revealing patterns, structures, and responses that suggest intelligence, intention, and observation beyond our comprehension. The golden record, our hopeful message to the stars, may have been received, understood, and mirrored back in ways that challenge the foundations of science, philosophy, and human curiosity. As the probe drifts ever farther into the silent void, we are left with more questions than answers. Are we truly alone, or have we unknowingly entered into a dialogue with something far older, far more aware than ourselves? Voyager 2 did not just capture data, it captured a glimpse of a universe that watches, reacts, and perhaps even waits for us to reach the next level of understanding. And in that revelation, the quiet vastness of space suddenly feels alive, deliberate, and filled with possibilities that push the limits of imagination, reminding us that the journey of discovery may have only just begun.